In south-central China, on the eastern fringe of the Tibetan highlands, are jungles of bamboo. A mysterious land of mists that shroud steep mountain slopes, a land of rain and snow. The bamboo forest is a wall, the shafts of bamboo tightly interlaced. It is hard to imagine any large animal living here, and yet one does, perhaps the most famous animal on the earth. For millions of years, such forests of bamboo have been the foundation of life for the giant panda. As knowledge and love of the panda have spread, the world has also pressed steadily in on the secret labyrinth of bamboo. In the late 20th century, only 800 to 1,000 pandas still exist in the wild. The giant panda is one of the most endangered species on Earth. This is a story of a visit paid by 2 Chinese pandas to the Canadian city of Calgary. It is also the story of the struggle for survival by all wild things. The giant panda is the most potent symbol of that struggle. Our love of the panda has made it so. In February 1988, 2 giant pandas, Xixi and Chunchun, arrived on loan from the Calgary Zoo in China for a 7-month stay at the Calgary Zoo. Excitement about this panda visit had been building in and around Calgary for more than a year.
Oh, and the pandas. They're coming to Calgary.
Big excitement over those pandas.
That's right. They're going to be here during the Olympics.
Good news down at the zoo, folks. Xixi and Chunchun, our panda guests from China, are feeling fine and entertaining large audiences every day.
For over 60 years, the Calgary Zoo has occupied St. George's Island, one of 3 islands in the Bow River, just north and east of the city's downtown. Few zoos in the world have been allowed to host an exhibition of giant pandas. That China has allowed the Calgary Zoo this trust, that the 7-month loan is the longest in the history of panda loans, is proof of the Calgary Zoo's maturity and reputation.
Do you know what they eat?
Probably lots of bamboo.
Just for you guys, here's some bamboo poop. Bamboo poop. Okay, folks, it's your turn.
2.5 years old and weighs 65 kilograms. Chun Chun is larger and browner than Shishi. Chun Chun is 4.5 years old and weighs about 114 kilograms. That's physically as large as she's going to get. In fact, she's larger than the average size female panda might be in the wild at about 90 kilograms. Shishi, on the other hand...
For years, I'd often wondered why pandas were so appealing to the public. They really are the world's most popular animal.
Brian Keating, Curator of Education at the Calgary Zoo.
And I think when you look at a panda, it's very obvious. They're round and almost cuddly looking. They've got a round face because of the large jaw muscles that they need to chew the bamboo. They've got a round, bear-like body, and the bold black and white coloration. I think that combined with many of the habits that are almost people-like habits, the way they sit and eat, and the way they play with each other, I think those are the types of things that make pandas stand out in people's mind. That's the type of behavior that make pandas the most popular animal in the world.
The roly-poly little black furry thingy. Nice because they look nice and furry and they look like big giant teddy bears. I would like one. I'd ask if I could have one for $60.
What do they say?
No.
They're different, they're rare, they're exotic. They look nice. Kids like them.
A simple joy in seeing one of the rarest and most attractive animals in nature. This is a natural and wonderful response by people to the animal world. A zoo exists in part to promote that bond, but it is only part of what a zoo does, and it is only part of the reason the Calgary Zoo has gone to such lengths to bring the giant pandas to Alberta.
Well, the goal that we had in mind was actually one of many goals, and we were not just only to have an interest in having pandas at the Calgary Zoo, we really wanted to build a relationship with China.
Peter Karsten, Executive Director of the Calgary Zoo.
But it is actually, the hidden agenda, of course, is that we will eventually work with China to build long-term conservation programs for endangered species. Pandas have become real symbols of conservation, and not only do we know the panda as the logo animal of the World Wildlife Fund, but we have all identified with pandas as being something very beautiful, very unique and rare. Flagship species such as the giant panda, perhaps Siberian tiger, gorillas, the many animals that we admire so much are very important to us because they do help us convey the very, very important message, and that is that we must preserve these animals, their habitat, for future generations. It would be tragic if future generations of humans would not have this wealth of wildlife and this source of inspiration and excitement and joy.
The giant panda is closely related to bears and more distantly related to raccoons, but the giant panda is different from both in many ways.
This is hard, and this is soft.
Right. So which do you think the panda would like to eat more? Oh, the panda likes to eat all the tender bits because it's a lot easier, right?
Bamboo. It makes up 99% of a panda's diet.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
That's great. Now, wait a minute. How many fingers do you have?
5.
5.
Pandas have a bone in their wrist that juts out and grabs the bamboo. It works a lot like the human thumb.
Yeah. Wow, you even know the right name for them. What do you think the panda uses these teeth for?
Chewing this bamboo.
Yeah, he chews the bamboo, right.
Giant molars and strong jaw muscles. Physical adaptations needed to crush the hard bamboo. A tough muscular stomach and thickly lined esophagus prevent punctures from bamboo splinters. Bamboo is not changed much by passage through a panda. Panda droppings can be confusing.
Do you know what this is?
Bamboo.
It's bamboo, but you know what's happened to this bamboo?
Panda's eating it.
The panda's eating it.
Pandas eat up to 20 kilograms or 40 pounds of bamboo a day, but digest only 17% of it. This accounts for a lifestyle that is mostly eating and sleeping. The giant panda, with all its idiosyncrasies, has been on Earth for at least 3 million years. Its body has evolved as much as it had to, and no more. The sad fact is that 20th century change has posed problems of transition, too sudden for any adaptive response. The future of the panda depends to a great extent on people. Farming and dense human habitation have steadily pushed back the bamboo forests of China. The remaining areas are isolated from one another, mountaintop islands of bamboo. China has fought back on behalf of the panda by establishing 12 panda reserves in areas of remaining bamboo. But many dangers still remain. When a species of bamboo flowers, it flowers everywhere on Earth and then dies. It may be 10 to 15 years before mature bamboo has grown from the seedlings. In the meantime, if the pandas cannot migrate to a stand of living bamboo, they too will die. It is the troubled future of pandas that makes the loan of giant pandas so important and so highly charged. Shishi and Shunshun represent hope for the future of their species. They must be protected, respected, and used to absolute best advantage in conservation terms.
Our attitude when we went to China was that we wanted to contribute as much as we possibly could to panda conservation. And we felt the way we could be most effective with the giant pandas was by contributing money that would go towards captive breeding efforts.
Greg Terry, curator of animal collections at the Calgary Zoo.
The Chinese reacted to this very warmly and very positively. And later, after the negotiations were complete, they sent an inspection team to visit the Calgary Zoo prior to the panda's arrival to give us some practical pointers on designing panda exhibits. They made a number of very positive contributions. We had originally designed the interior enclosure without a divider. They pointed out that since Shishi and Chunchun had never been introduced to each other, that it would be most effective to have an interior divider so that we could display them both at the same time, particularly during the early months. They also made some suggestions on feeding platforms and sleeping platforms, which have proven to be a great help, and I think have gone a long way towards making the pandas transition to the Calgary Zoo as successful as it has been.
One of the greatest challenges of playing host to a pair of young and hungry pandas is bamboo. Even in Chongqing, bamboo is not that easily come by. The Chongqing Zoo buys its bamboo from farmers, and it must be trucked up to 100 kilometers. But where in Canada, or in North America for that matter, can you find 30 to 40 kilograms of fresh bamboo per day? The answer was found in San Diego, California, and in the generosity of a corporate sponsor. Several species of bamboo suitable for Xixi and Chunchun were found in quantity near San Diego. Canadian Airlines International, the airline which flew Xixi and Chunchun to Calgary, now brings 2 airlifts of fresh bamboo from California every week. To help with the care and feeding of Xixi and Chunchun during their stay, a Chinese team has accompanied the pandas to Calgary. Zhao Guanlu, leader of the delegation and team veterinarian. Wu Dehut, team zookeeper. Liu Gong, team interpreter. Every morning and evening, Xixi and Chunchun are served a dietary supplement of gruel or porridge, combining high caloric content with a variety of vitamins. Mr. Zhao and Mr. Wu instruct a Canadian zookeeper in the preparation of this important meal.
It's okay? All right.
Xixi and Chunchun are young females. Xixi is 2.5 years old and Chunchun is 4.5. They were both born in zoos. Chunchun was conceived by artificial insemination and was born at the Beijing Zoo before being transferred to our zoo at Chongqing. Xixi was conceived naturally. She was the second panda born at Chongqing, but is the first to survive. Whether a panda is born in a zoo or in the wild, the first 3 months of its life are the most critical. The panda baby is so small, just 100 grams at birth, that it is at great risk all the time. When Xixi was born at Chongqing Zoo, we watched her day and night. After 3 months, a panda's survival is more secure. Xixi and Chunchun are quite different in personality. Chunchun has a temper and won't let us touch her. She once gave me a bite on the arm. Xixi is a much milder personality. She likes to be scratched. I can touch her paw, her ears, and even clean her teeth. The Calgary Panda exhibition marks the first time that Chinese zoo officials have agreed to allow research on the pandas during a loan. 2 research projects are being carried out while Xixi and Chunchun are in Calgary. One to do with the digestive efficiency of growing pandas, and the other to study hormone levels in female pandas who are not yet sexually mature. It is hoped that this research agreement will be the first of many, and that through science, ways will be found to improve the giant panda's chances of survival. In zoos throughout China, science and nature are already working in close harmony to increase the population of captive pandas. Because pandas, both male and female, are only sexually active for 1 to 3 days per year, bringing the right partners together at the right time is a major undertaking. Artificial insemination has greatly improved the chances of success. If the breeding of pandas in captivity is successful enough, the zoos may one day be able to repopulate the bamboo forests. Through the China-Canada Panda Loan of 1988, the Calgary Zoo will be giving direct aid to these ambitious Chinese programs.
The Calgary Zoological Society is going to be donating $500,000 to the panda conservation efforts in China. We're contributing the money towards a breeding facility at the Chengdu Zoo. One of the basic philosophies in obtaining the pandas was the stipulation that we didn't want to interrupt any kind of breeding program that may be going on in a Chinese zoo. So we specifically requested pandas that would be either too old to breed or too young to breed. And in fact, Chun and Xixi are both very young pandas, and Xixi is still a year or a year and a half away from breeding. It is very important for us to show the pandas and talk about the pandas as wild animals, as endangered species. But there's a bigger message that we want to leave behind. The pandas are a symbol of all endangered species worldwide, both near and far. The grizzly bear, for instance, a local endangered species, is in trouble, and it's time that we start putting energy into species like that to develop an awareness and an understanding and an appreciation in the general public about these wonderful creatures.
Obviously they were here for a reason, and if they disappear, what's going to happen to the rest of the world?
People are destroying their habitat, so that's why they can't live, because they're destroying the bamboo, so they can't eat, and then they die.
It's sad because you can't get them back again. You know, if they become extinct, there's no turning back, they're gone. And it's unfortunate because, you know, you find out about the pandas here, but you don't find out much about, you know, the grizzly bear, which is one of our native animals. You don't hear that much about them.
And so the message of the Chinese pandas is passed on. A message that wild animals are valuable, that wild animals need our help to survive.
Your Chinese is still bad.
When Xixi and Chun return to China, their temporary home in Calgary will be taken over by the zoo's Asiatic bears. An important moment in the history of the Calgary Zoo, because at that time, the last of the old-fashioned barred cages will be torn down.
The panda exhibit has been probably one of the most ambitious undertakings the zoo has ever done. It meant coordinating our efforts with not only the best animal husbandry resources that we have, but with the city government, with international diplomatic channels, with the World Wildlife Fund, with scientists that deal and work with panda conservation programs. But all of that was energized by our desire to make our contribution to long-term preservation of endangered species.
Zoos today are part of a huge international network that includes universities, government agencies, and organizations like the World Wildlife Fund, a network that shares the central goal of keeping animals in the wild, of making space in the world for them, and allowing them to flourish independently. The giant pandas have the power to make the public understand and share that goal. giant panda, symbol of friendship between animal and man, symbol of the danger human beings pose for all animals in nature, symbol, finally, of the need for the human race to find ways by which man and animal can share the planet for the benefit of both.
He's cute.
This could be the last time we see him. If people don't become more aware of the natural habitat, be lost forever.